Praise the Lord, hallelujah, and thank you, Jesus. It's around that time right here on KAZ Radio, where I have one of my most favorite ministries, none other than the MGM Radio Spotlight with L. Michele Spencer, or Stevenson. Is it Spencer or is it Stevenson? Which one is it, Michelle?
You could say it both.
Okay, I could say both. Well, Michelle, take it away.
Okay. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. Again, this is MGM Radio Spotlight from Warren, Ohio. I'm sorry, from Canton, Ohio. Warren is actually my hometown. And I have a friend that is here with me. We graduated together. We happen to be having a class reunion this year, 1984. And I wanted to take advantage of the fact that she was in town. Now, she has written this dynamic book, A Cracked Egg. And again, this young lady's name is Stepanie Rochelle Smith. Mm-hmm. How are you, my sister?
I am amazing.
Wonderful.
Yes.
Now, we connected a few years ago, and you began to share with me about this book, A Cracked Egg. Tell me a little bit about how and what inspired you to start writing.
You know how you know that you're supposed to do something. So, of course, we all have a story. And God kept saying, I kept getting this sign that I needed to tell my story. I needed, because basically we're all giving testimonies to help other people. Right. So you're not supposed to keep it to yourself. So my way, and I make a joke about it, but my way of writing the book was to get God off my back. It's like, I'm going to go on and write this book. I'm going to help the people.
Yeah.
And I'm going to be done with that thing. But that was just the beginning.
Right.
I didn't want to write. I thought when I kept getting the sign to write the book, I'm like, well, Lord, who wants to read a book about loss and divorce? And what happened when I wrote the book, like it literally became live April 2019. I wrote the book, and soon as the book was about to hit, I got asked to speak on the stage at a woman's program.
Wow.
And guess who was in the audience? People who had lost a child and people who had gone through a divorce or was going through a divorce.
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, God, I see you. So that's why I had to write the book.
Okay.
But the book was just the beginning. So I'm glad I was obedient. But literally, I tell everybody, it took me 10 years to write the book. Every vacation I would be on, I would start writing, and I would throw it in the trash. I'm like, no, I just didn't know which way I wanted to go with the book.
Okay.
And it turns out just telling the story is the way that he wanted me to go. But it took me a minute to figure out how I needed to formulate this book. Okay. So I tell people, call me, check with me. If you have a book in you, let's get it done, because it's gonna help somebody.
There you go.
But then after that, then I had to grow into this person that I needed to be to do the next phase of life that he was putting before me. Like I said, I got thrown on a stage and I had never spoke before.
Oh, okay.
So, and I was like, you want me to speak in front of women and say what? Like, I'm not a speaker. So then I was running again. I ran from telling my story in the book, then I ran from speaking on stages, because it all made me become a person who I was not comfortable being. Even though it was my story. Right. And so I said, I'm just going, okay, God, me and you going to get up on the stage and we just going to tell the story and we just going to see how it go.
Right.
And I got a standing ovation. And I was like, whoa.
Oh my God.
But basically what I've learned during that is like like when you invite them in, the Holy Spirit just took over.
Excellent.
Like my story is my story, but I have never told it the same every time I speak. It just comes out however they need to hear it. You know what I mean? Whatever they need to hear, but it's my story, if you know what I mean.
Now you deal with recovery.
I deal with rebuilding your life.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So after a tragedy, where do you begin?
After a tragedy, I tell everybody, like when you're in it, let's back up. So my first tragedy, I had a son and I lost him to a brain tumor. So there was nobody to help me move forward after losing a child. Like nobody in my sphere of influence had lost a child. Wow. So they could be, feel sorry for me, but they couldn't tell me how to get him to go to work the next day. right?
Yeah.
So I'm like, how do you do that?
Right.
How do you move forward when the best thing in life that I cared about so much is now gone? Like, how do I not be a mom?
Right.
How do you do that? So these are the questions that I had that nobody could answer.
Whoa.
Everybody had their child. So they could not tell me how to move forward without mine.
Exactly.
Nobody knew.
Exactly.
So I was like, okay. And after losing my child, I was mad. I mean, like, I was very angry at God.
Right.
Like, I grew up in church. I just thought this was something that we were going to have to go through. You know, he's sick. Okay, God, go ahead and do your thing, God.
Yeah.
Go ahead and do your thing, because he's
and
a
give
child.
me my baby back.
Okay, he's a child. Like,
Right,
surely
right.
the end
Yeah,
result
yeah.
is not going to be he's going
Right.
to die. Like
Okay.
this is just something we got to go through. We going to grow through it. You know what I
Right,
mean? I'm going to
right.
learn how to
Yeah.
even be a better parent, you know.
Okay.
But no, that was not my
Whoa.
case. So, like I said, I was left angry and didn't know how to move forward. So I had to, the person that I was mad at, I had to seek.
Okay.
Because there was nobody else that could help me get through that experience. I'm real big on, like, not allowing just anybody to tell me something.
Right,
Like, you
definitely.
gotta have been there,
Yeah,
or
done
you know what I
that,
mean.
yeah,
So
yeah.
it wasn't just anybody that could pour back into me.
Okay.
So I was forced to seek God.
Okay.
And I just, through the whole thing, that's when I learned how to say, okay, so how do I do this? Like I said, how do I get them to go to work
Okay.
and not be crying all day at work? Like,
Right.
you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, how do I come home and pass the room that he used to be in? Like, how do I do that?
Yeah.
Yeah, like, how do I do
Okay,
that? Like,
okay,
okay.
okay.
But he kept sending different people to give me little pieces. Like, one of my best friend's grandmother, she told me to not make his room a mausoleum. I was like, what? She said, no. So I knew then, I was like, okay, it's time to pack his stuff up. And I gave his clothes to a good friend of mine. And when she gave the clothes out to her kids, she called me, she said, Steph, Ryan got some candy in the pockets for the kids. I said, shut up. You see how it was just like everything, if you just
Yeah.
keep
Yeah.
moving forward. You know what I mean? It just all lays out the way that it's supposed to. Yeah. So that's what I help people do, and it's different for in each case. You know,
Right.
it just depends on who you are and what we need to do. But I got to get you not focus so much on where you're sitting. Like, we got to dismantle that, right? So we can move forward. But I also got to get you focused on what's next.
Exactly.
And I just kept asking God, what's next? What's
Okay.
next? What's next?
Is that
And he
right?
just kept moving me forward, moving me forward, moving me forward.
Okay.
But I got to get people in that space. You know, I had to get in that space
Right.
because like I said, I was angry. Like, you know, people didn't know what to say, and they would say craziness like, well, you can just have another one. I'm like, well, yeah, but that don't replace this one.
Right.
My firstborn
Yeah. Yeah.
and a firstborn son. Yeah, and I got all off up into that mama thing. Like, I was doing it.
Right,
You hear me?
Right.
And then I got, like, just deadlocked. So it's like, okay, so what do we do now? And then, so I moved forward from that. So then it's like my grandmother. Like they say, I had a praying grandmother. She was like, you got to do it again because you're such a good parent. I was like, ain't nobody in the world that's going to make me do that again, because
Right.
can't nobody tell me why this happened.
Right.
Like, I was literally in the hospital with my son, and there was another lady, and she had 3 kids that had kidney cancer. So you could not tell me
Right.
that this couldn't happen again. Like, I would just say, oh, it ain't worth it. It ain't worth it. It's a no for me. You know,
Right.
it's a no.
Right.
But then I softened, you know, again, like I said, as I continued to talk to God, he just kept softening my heart.
Right.
And I said, okay, we gonna try this again. But that's, you know, I'm talking to God. I'm like, so if I'm gonna do this though, Lord, you're gonna have to help me not do this and be stuck in fear.
Right.
So
There
then
you
I
go.
had, so then I had to move through the fear, because like I said, it was real. Like, there was another lady that he showed me. It's
Right,
like
right.
it could go like this, or you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So I tell people, it's like, it's funny how you have a child and, like, your child is healthy, my child is not. Like, the only thing I knew how to do was raise a healthy child.
Right.
I'm sorry, raise a unhealthy child.
Right.
Like, that was my experience.
Exactly.
So then I decided to do again, and I have a daughter this time.
Okay.
I just knew God was going to give me another son. Like, we going to get to do this over. We're going to get to do this over.
Okay,
Like, thank you, Lord, for the do-over. He said,
okay.
no.
Yeah,
a son is
yeah,
not
yeah.
what it would be this time.
Right.
I'm going to give you a daughter.
Okay.
And so her name was Autumn. Her name is Autumn. And she ain't never been sick. Like, so
Right.
then I got to, like, live out what I missed
There you
living
go.
out with my son. And it's just been the
Fantastic.
best thing ever. So that, yeah, so I take being a mom very, very serious. And we'll get more into that next when we start talking about relationships. But so then after that, so I had to rebuild my life after losing my son.
Yeah.
I had to rebuild my life because now I'm a mom again. It's like, okay, so how do I do this? Now I have a daughter.
Okay.
So of course, you know, we get her christened, we give her to God. You know what I mean? Like we doing all the things because you don't take for granted what God blesses you with,
Right.
however He blesses you. And then the next boom, then I go through a divorce. So I tell people, I literally had to rebuild my life 3 times. Like these are things that we go through in life that we don't think about it.
Yeah.
We just move forward, but like you want to move forward from the inside out. You want to rebuild from the inside out. You want to ask God to take out of me what doesn't need to be in me and put in me what needs to be in me so I can move forward as a whole person, not this
Right.
angry person anymore,
Right,
not this,
right.
you know, not this depressed person
Right,
anymore. Like I
right.
can, you got me out here now on this journey. Now you want me to help people. So I don't want to be helping people and I'm still broken.
There you go.
You know what I mean? And that's what I tell people. It's like, pay attention to who you allow coach you in moving forward.
Right.
If they don't have what you want, you can't be my coach.
Right.
Because you should choose a coach that represents the life that you desire. So if I want to be married, nothing against coaches that are not married, but you have not passed the test. You have not gotten yourself
Right.
in that position to tell me how to do it.
Right.
Because I need you to pass the test.
Okay.
Right? I would think
Okay.
that you would want me, if
Right.
I'm your coach,
Right.
to have gotten the A plus,
Right.
as I call it.
Uh-huh.
You know, that's just me. People say, no. But I say, yeah. I say, yeah, that's just me and choosing who's
Right.
going to pour into me. Have you been there? So like I
There
said, when
you
I
go.
lost my son, there was nobody who had lost a son who could pour into me. You see what I'm saying? So now I say everything is in the Bible that you need. Everything to move you forward
Right.
is there. You just need that assistance, that accountability person to
Right.
walk with you and make sure that you get to the place that you want to be.
Excellent.
And like the first question I always ask anybody that I coach, what do you want? And most people don't know. Most people cannot tell me, oh, Stephanie, I want this. So we have to go through sessions of figuring out who
Right,
are they
right,
and where they want to
right,
be
right,
and how,
right,
you know what I
right.
mean? You can't just like, well, just do this. I got to get to know you. We got to build this relationship and see how what the Holy Spirit is telling me actually, not that you
Yeah.
need to move you
Right.
forward. We got to see what we need to dismantle.
Well, too, yeah, that dismantling.
Yeah.
A lot of times with women, you've been with a man for a while, and you realize how much of him you've embraced, and you lose yourself.
You lose
Yeah, you
yourself.
lose who
lose
you
yourself.
are.
Yeah,
And then after that, the separation, then you start. Okay, he ain't there
right.
to take care of. He ain't there. So
So then guess what? So
Right.
then you become dominant because you get to do things your way. Yeah.
yeah.
So you become dominant. You don't even realize you're dominant though. You're just making it happen. You just
Right.
going through life. You know what I mean?
Right,
After
right.
divorce, it's like, okay,
Recovering.
it's me and my daughter. Like
Right.
let's let's make it do what it do. You know what I
Right,
mean? That's
yeah.
when I was a real estate agent, but it was at that time it was just extra income. But I picked that thing back up and ran with it. You know,
Right,
and
right.
that's how I was able to make sure that our life sustained and went higher as you know it needed to be with just me and her.
right. Okay.
Before I had that extra income over here.
Yeah.
So now it's just me.
Right.
So
Right.
there's, of course, you're going to become dominant. You're focused on making sure that she doesn't miss a beat. You know, your children, make
Right.
sure that they have what they need. You know, because after being disappointed and all of that, what you went through with divorce, you don't know if that person's going to be there or not. So you got to make sure
Right.
that your child gets whatever they need. Your children get what they need. So that's just where I was. I was just focused on continue to move forward, continue to recover and build myself back up to who Stephanie is after that.
Right. Right.
You see what I'm saying? Because now you've had these life experiences. So that's why I say dismantling is key because who are you? Let's figure out who you are.
Right.
Let's get you back to the confident you.
Right.
And that was my goal. It's like, let me get me back to me. Like you
Right.
just said, you lose yourself. It's like, I'm not the wife anymore. Like I can literally rebuild my life and do whatever it is and go and do and see what I like and what I don't like as me first.
Exactly.
Before I move forward and God blesses me with the next mate.
There you go.
Get
And you
all
need
that-
that recovery.
You need the recovery. You gotta
need
have
that,
it.
right.
You gotta have
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
And the thing is, most men, because men, like to have that person, they don't go through most men, not all men, they don't go through the recovery period of really figuring out like what's next.
Right. They just go to the next
They just go to the next.
woman.
Yeah, but then you end up with two broken people because you're gonna attract where you are. So when you rebuild your life, right now you're running in a higher vibration, so you're gonna attract something different because you know what didn't work. So now
Exactly.
when you raise your vibration of this new you, right, you're going to be walking different. Like I tell my clients, I say, when you walk in a room, you're walking in a room different when you rebuild your life.
Right.
Like you don't even have to say anything. It's just an aura about you. You know what I mean?
Right,
And it's
right.
just like I walk in a room and it's like people can feel.
There you go.
You know what I mean? Who I am. I don't even have
Right.
to say anything. That's where I'm trying to get my clients to be.
Right,
And, like
right.
when you're in that zone, you can create, you can do whatever it is that God has called you to do. Because like I said, I had to grow into this person that God was calling, like speak on stages. No. I'm background. I'm shy.
Yeah.
Like this right here. Oh no. This is for other people.
Right.
You know what I mean? But no, I have something that he wants me to say to his people.
Amazing.
Yeah.
Almost as if God is saying, okay, I'm going to stop her life. If I don't stop her life, she's not going to get to know me. Like this.
Like I need to.
Yeah. If I-
Yeah.
So I'm going
Like
to
he got
stop
my
her life.
attention.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm up here.
Yeah. Life is great.
Hey, what the scripture say? He rules in the kingdom of men. I'm up here.
Yeah.
I create life. Okay. Yeah. God has his way of allowing us to suffer with him. Because it's the scriptures that say, if you don't suffer with him, you can't reign with him. Okay? So he has a plan.
He has a plan. And
Now-
and I'm gonna tell you, the plan, I'm kicking and screaming. I'm like,
Okay? Yeah.
I'm like, I don't want to do it.
yeah.
I just want to go about my way. He's like, nah, it's you.
Wow.
I need you to help the people. So that's all I've tried to do in everything that I do. It's
Okay.
always about how can I help,
Okay.
sincerely.
Now, where can they find the book?
They can get it from me, and also it's on Amazon. So I have an Instagram page, Stephanie Rochelle Consulting.
Okay.
You can find me there, and there's a link to my book there. So I have so many copies, but you can also get it on Amazon. And you can find it, pull up A Cracked Egg, Stephanie Rochelle, and it'll pop right up.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we're going to go to a quick commercial, and we'll be right back. Okay. Well, let's split it. Let's talk a little bit.
Hello, and welcome back to The Rebuild. Question: are you stuck in unforgiveness but ready to move forward? Who are you when you're disappointed? Who are you when you're in relationships? I'm Stephanie Rochelle, author of A Cracked Egg, your life coach, and your trusted realtor. Mark 11:25-26 shows us that forgiveness is required by God. We must forgive so that we will be forgiven. Go check it out. The key is to learn to forgive quickly. In relationships, the key is to learn to forgive quickly. Your new beginning starts with forgiveness. So now let's talk about the who, the why, and the what. Who are you because of unforgiveness? Unforgiveness can manifest or look like anger, resentment, control, or lack of trust? Why do we get stuck in unforgiveness? It's because we refuse to give it to God, we refuse to change, and don't set boundaries. What are you resisting? Or better yet, what are your fears? I want you to write down your who, what, and why. I want you to forgive yourself and those that hurt you and pray and ask God what's next. As I said last week, it's a process, so give yourself grace, but get in position for your new beginning. I'm Stephanie Rochelle, and what could your life be? What could your relationships, your marriages be if we learn to love God's way? Welcome to the rebuild.
Okay, you're back.
Good morning, everybody. This is the day the Lord hath.
Spotlight. And again, because Steph also does relationship coaching. Now, tell me what you have found. Now, you've been doing it how many years now?
2012.
Okay. Tell me what you found out there, because again, with give me an idea of what women are saying, and then give me an idea of what men are saying.
Well, what I coach mostly women.
Okay.
I just recently started coaching some men, but women, what God sends me, right? Like I said, when I got divorced,
Yeah.
I was able to create the life that I wanted the way that I wanted, right?
Right.
However, when a man comes into your life, that doesn't work.
Okay.
So you have to drop the dominance. You have to drop you being in control of everything.
Right.
Because a real man he's the head.
Right.
Right? Well,
Exactly.
I've been over here by myself doing this thing, like I said, doing everything the way that I want it. Everything is just like in harmony.
Right.
According to me.
Yeah. Okay.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then I meet my husband, and he starts asking me questions. Okay, well, how do you do this? And like, let's talk about your bills. And I'm like, talk about my bills? These are my bills. Like, what do you mean? Like, huh?
You got yours.
What do you need to know about my
Right,
bills for?
right,
But he's looking at me as a wife.
Right.
And I haven't come to the conclusion that he has come to. Like I said, like when we met, he was like, oh, this it. This is she the one. I'm like, hold up, bro. Like, I'm still, I got the guard up. Like, wait a minute, let me see if you're going to be the same 3 months from now. Let me see if you're going to be the same 6 months from now,
Right.
So, but what happens a lot of times with women when they're dating, I tell them to like, hold up, just hold back a little bit. Like, they jump right in and ready to be the wife and ready to be we don't even know if this is your guy yet.
Right.
Like, let's don't be anxious for nothing. That's what the
what the
word
word
says. but I'm there. Everybody's anxious.
Yes.
You see what I'm saying? It's like, ooh, he the one.
Yes.
He the one because why? Let's talk about like why is he the one? Like,
Right,
are we talking
exactly.
like just because he fine?
Right.
It got to be more than that. Like
Thank you.
no, we got to be more than that. Like
Right.
let's talk about like what the matchup looks like. Because a lot of times what I find is we try to make it fit,
Right.
and making it fit don't work.
I believe
Because
that.
when it don't, yeah, making it fit don't work. And really and truly, the one that I believe that's sent for you, it just is so easy.
Yeah.
It's so easy. Even when you in an argument, it's still just so easy. You know what I'm saying? It just works. It's like, man, wow. And I was scared at first, like when we got engaged. I was like, we ain't even had an argument. That's weird.
What is he gonna be like?
That's
And I
weird.
make
You know
you
what
mad,
I'm
'cause
saying?
I know I'm gonna make you mad.
I'm gonna make you mad. But see, I had prayed for a godly man. When God sends you what you ask for,
Right.
then I had to grow again. I had to grow into this wife
Right.
that now had this godly man that was actually talking to God too.
Okay.
You see what I'm
Excellent.
saying? That was
Yeah.
a little different.
Yeah.
See, that's what I said. I said, be careful what you ask for now, because it's gonna make it grow again.
Right.
I had to grow again. Like I said, I had my relationship, me and God. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah.
And my prayers are getting answered. But now I had to grow into a wife again. I haven't got how to do that part. But I had enough sense to know that the dominant Stephanie wasn't gonna work.
Right.
Like I said, I was in harmony over here.
Yeah.
And now here's somebody is trying to see about me and make sure I'm good, and I'm just like,
I ain't used to that.
I forgot about that part. You know what I mean? I was like, how do I get back? How do I do this again? And like I tell people, it's like, oh, yeah, Steph, I need you, if you can help me with that. I was like, yeah, you got to back up. You got to be
'Cause
quiet.
now you got somebody to actually lean
On. Right. And how do I do that
Right.
when I've been running it? I tell you, God sends me, and everybody he sends, everybody I have coached,
Yeah.
we got it going on. Like we're business women. We're
Aggressive. Yes.
yeah, you see what I'm saying? It's like, and that's great. That's
In its
great.
place.
In its place. But when you come home,
There you go. That's when you got to dismantle.
yeah, you got to dismantle again, right? You
Yeah.
got to dismantle
Okay.
again.
Okay.
And so, so I bring that out because nobody sees themselves.
Right. Right. Right.
It's like, I'm controlling. It's like, nah. I'm like, yeah. 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 Like, what happens when he forgets to pay the light bill? Or what happened when, how do you respond to that? What's your response?
Right.
Nobody has ever checked their response. They just been responding the way that they've been responding. You see what I'm saying? That's
Yeah.
why the rebuild
Right.
is different. Because you responding the way your mama responded. You saying you reacting the way your mom reacted or your dad reacted. But that's not necessarily going to get you this guy that you want this time.
Because he
So-
ain't none of them. His
He don't-
personality ain't none of them.
He don't even respond to that. Like when I met my husband, he's like, well, it seems like you're trying to argue. I'm like, no, I'm just nah. Nah.
Right,
I'm just
right.
talking because previously I had to get my point across.
Right. I
Well,
want you to understand.
You see what I'm saying?
Why I'm saying what I'm saying.
Yeah, but no. I don't have to get my point across with somebody that's willing and listening to what
work with me
You see what I'm
anyway.
saying? You don't have to come like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
You can just have a normal conversation, people.
Like the other dude's sitting there too.
Yeah, you can
And
have
he's not. Okay.
He's
I got
not.
you.
Like I don't have to respond to this person that way.
Right.
So how do I dismantle all these
Yeah.
things I've been doing for
Right.
30 years?
Right.
Right?
Yeah.
This is how I've been doing this because I had to with
Yeah.
that other personality.
There you go.
But this person that God sent, I don't have to respond that way. Oh, Steph, you got to learn to go be quiet and go pray. What? And then the answer he gave me is like, be quiet. Woo!
For a woman.
You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I was like, okay. And then, like I say, he sends me. So when you come to me and I'll be like, well, hey, Michelle. So how's that working for you?
Yeah.
How's that working for you? The way that you've been responding, the way that you've been doing things, and you've been single, since 2018, and it's 2024 now. So how's it working for you?
Ooh.
And you're like, yeah, let's look back. Like, how were you raised? What did you see? What relationships did you see? See, I saw my grandmother being quiet, but I saw my mom saying something.
Being strong.
I'm like, it's a balance.
Right.
It's a balance that we are not aware. No, actually, we are aware. I've had several clients say, well, yeah, I get that from my aunt. Well, how's that working for your aunt? Is she in a happy, loving relationship? Like, that's what you're telling me. You're sitting before me saying you want, a godly man too. Oh, yes,
And
Steph, I
harmony
want
in
that.
your home.
Yeah, I want peace. Oh, yeah. Okay, well, if you're responding the way that your aunt responds, because that's what you saw, because that's your, that's who you're emulating, right? Does she have peace in her home, or is she always in an uproar?
Right.
Or God brought you a man that was peaceful, but you're still responding. So now you have all of this friction in your home. It's like, when I tell you the Smiths, it's peaceful over there.
Is that right?
Woo, yes, we have a good time. And people can see it. Like, this is not, this is real life. We have a good time. We have a good time. But we have a good time because he can let me have it. He's like, you know what?
And he'll do it very calmly.
Very calm. I'd be like,
without
what?
that feeling like he gonna argue.
And the next morning, it's like, hey, beautiful, what?
That's what I'm talking about.
What?
See, that's a mature man.
What?
Or a mature woman.
I'm looking at you like, I don't even like you right now.
Yeah, when you get a personality
man.
that can leave yesterday in yesterday.
Yeah,
woo,
it's over.
What's the scripture say? God's mercies are new every morning.
It's over, girl. The next morning, like, hey.
That's what's up. See,
I'm
that's a
like-
mature man right there.
I'm like, okay, God. He
Instead
love
of
me for
having
real.
somebody not speaking.
Or just walk out.
Woo, that's deep water.
Or just walk out. You know, like, well, she mad at me, so I'm going to leave her alone. He don't care. He be
Coming
like,
right at you.
right at me.
Yeah.
I'm like, boy, Steph, you
Yeah,
got to get
you
it
my
together.
beauty.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you.
Like, whatever you, like,
I'm coming at you. I'm coming in, and you're not gonna keep me out.
that's it.
Okay,
That part.
That's a mature man.
Right? But that's why you have to, because the older you would be like, I don't even like, it's like, no, you're like, okay, have a good day. You know what I mean? Like, man, like, boy, like, Lord, I see you. I see you working on me.
Yeah.
I see you working. Thank
Let
you.
it go.
Like, oh,
Saying,
yeah,
let it
Steph,
go.
you did that good, girl. Like, you got that right. So that's the pieces, because that's the piece. And when I say, do you want to have peace in your home? It's like, how do you do that?
Right. But again, I guess there's these disciplines that we have to look at. We have to look at, like you said, how we were raised. Because I did have parents that argued at the table, and when my mom started working and making home money, and but the blessing was I never feared it. I'd be sitting there watching TV, and man, they would go through this season where they would be arguing every day. But I never felt like they were gonna split. That generation never gave us that. 'Cause,
Yeah.
Again, I'm the last of 13, and my folks was born in the 20s. So, but I do remember them communicating more after she started working and having some arguments. But I watched my mom serving though. I watched my mom wash his feet, take care of his feet, clip his toenails. And see, we had this big bathroom in this old house that we had. And they would be in there together. I was like, how many couples go in the bathroom together? And they in there, and you hear them just in there talking. Being one flesh.
That's
Ooh, I
it.
hear you, Holy Ghost.
Yes.
Being one
Yeah.
flesh.
It's real.
It is.
But here's the thing. If you have not experienced that, how do you know? You see what I'm saying? I had to grow and change. That's why I said relationships require change.
Right.
Like, to get this thing that you want, you have to change. You have to change.
Yeah.
And I'm going to speak for my husband here. He'll say it doesn't work a lot of times because people try to change each other.
Exactly.
Like, so when we were dating, I played tennis. I like to go for a walk. I like to do all of these things, right?
Yeah.
And I'll be back. So I always tested the water. When I came back, he had fixed dinner.
Oh, man.
He had, like, he was never like, where you been? He was never like, where you been? I could still do, because like I said, I had already lost myself once.
Right.
And just being a mom and just making sure everybody was good. But what about me?
Right.
So now I'm back to me. I'm playing tennis. You know what I mean? I'm going to the gym. I'm going for a walk or whatever it is. I'm a real estate agent, so I'm out with clients.
Right.
Every time I came back,
Yeah.
he was good. I was like, what you say?
Where you been?
Every time.
You've been gone for 2 hours.
Yeah.
Where you been?
Yeah. Never. Never. That's what I was
That's
looking
deep
for.
water right there. I'm
Yeah.
talking about a mature man, a confident man,
Yep.
and somebody that's sure that they love you.
Yep. Yep.
And wait a minute, and doing things to let you know I love you.
For real. Every day.
I know that's right.
Every day. Every day. But I tell people, it's like, you got to know you, right? I understood who I was. He understands who he is. So, like, literally, he would say, well, you don't have to do all that I do. But I married myself. Like, I'm a giver.
Okay.
He's a giver.
Excellent.
Like, babe, you need some coffee? Or he's like, babe, let me bring you a cup of coffee upstairs. Like, we're givers.
There you
right?
go.
So
Yeah.
it's reciprocal. So he's just not just loving me right, we're loving each other right.
There you go. And you teach each other. You're supposed to teach each other.
Yeah. What you like. And
There you go.
Right.
Yeah.
But you can only get to that space when you rebuild your life.
Right.
Right? Because you're still coming to the table as the old you.
Right.
But what you want requires a new you.
There you go. There you
Every
go.
time to get something different, you got to do something different.
Right.
And that's what a lot of times I see. We go into the next relationship. You
And
know,
you ain't took.
he
care.
didn't even do
You
it.
got all these loose ends over
You
here.
got all these loose ends.
Right.
You have no boundaries set now that you have a child over here, you have an ex over here. You got to have boundaries. It's a lot of navigation that people don't know how to navigate. And so,
And then kids will get hurt
yeah,
in the midst of these adjustments.
yeah. It's like, okay, so we agreed to divorce, so ain't no reason you can't get me mad no more. You said let's just start it right there. It's like you can push buttons from being the ex, but you no longer have authority over here.
Exactly.
Like you got to create the like you can't do it, sir. Sorry. Like this is peaceful over here. This how we rolling
Right,
over here. You
right.
can't upset nothing.
There you go.
Nothing.
There you
Matter of
go.
fact, hold on. She coming out. She coming out to
You
the
ain't even gotta
driveway.
come
You ain't
here.
got to come in here.
You got to do what you got
But
to
you
do.
no, you have to understand the personality that you're dealing with
That's right. Yeah.
to create those boundaries. It's like, because if you continue to let them keep coming up in the house, it's like
Hurt
so
people.
when you
hurt people.
but when you have your next mate, this joker coming up in here like he still live here. No, sir.
That's right.
She'll be out. She'll be out. Just
Right.
1 second. Here she comes.
There you
Hey, how you doing? How y'all doing?
There you go.
No bitterness.
Right.
Nothing. Nothing. That's what kids need to see.
Exactly.
They need to be able to see that you can communicate. They need to be able to see because, okay, yes, it's over, but we still have this person over here
Right.
to raise.
That's right.
And now and same thing with my husband now. He has kids. Never ever tried to take over. Never ever tried to steal their time from their dad. Let's.
Right.
It's a rebuild.
There
You see what I'm
go.
saying?
Exactly.
It's a rebuild. It's like, go ahead, spend time with your dad. Okay, now we're gonna do stuff together as a family. You know what I mean? And those kids love me, and I love them. And same
you
thing
go.
with my daughter. He loves my daughter like she's his, and she loves him
Excellent.
because there was no competition.
Right.
Like I'm just here for you if you need me.
Wow.
We need more of that.
Well, we definitely don't have enough mature brothers. And I don't know how she let go of maturity. But like you said, sometimes your the way you were raised is so rough and so it's almost like you don't know how to keep the peace.
Yeah.
You don't know how. You're so used to confusion that you feel like that's what you're supposed to do. You know.
Yeah.
But if he gives you a person with peace, you got to learn how to lay back and say, okay, I am not going to be the one that creates confusion.
Right.
If there ain't no confusion.
Correct.
Okay. Well, God knows.
But the same thing that I was looking for when I came home, right? Guess what? You don't think he's looking for, so when he come in the house too, because he came from
come
confusion.
on. I'm going to give you what I want you to give me.
Okay.
Come
All
on,
right.
brother.
All right.
I wish he was here
Okay.
today.
It's like, yes. It's like, hey, babe.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, you back? Okay. Nothing.
Wow. Phenomenal.
Nothing. He's just been out and about. You see what I'm saying? But because somebody was out and about doing things that they shouldn't have been doing doesn't mean that he's out and about doing. You know what I mean? I don't even worry
Exactly.
about stuff like that.
Exactly.
Because guess what? When you have a relationship with God, whatever is going on, it's going to come to you. So you just confidently move forward in that thing.
Right,
and don't be sitting in, because what you focus on, you attract.
Yeah.
No, what I'm focused on is us being happy, us moving forward, us building this life that we desire. That's what I'm focused on.
Right.
Not all of this other stuff that could happen. None of that. Because that's what you bring right to your house.
Right. Right. Yeah, you can't get off, and you can't let. That's why you got to be careful who you listening to. Some of y'all need to let go of some of these people that's been in your life
Yes.
for a long time because they still talking crazy. They will seed doubt into you.
Correct.
They will seed doubt into a marriage that's strong. And if you start listening, it'll be a mess.
Yeah.
Everybody should not be speaking to you about your relationships. And like she said, if they ain't been there and done that, keep them out your stuff.
Yeah. And unfortunately, guys, because, like people say, well, okay, you weren't able to keep your first marriage. That marriage was supposed to end. God had something else for me. Things happen, whatever. That marriage was supposed to end. Sometimes it doesn't work, guys. We got married at 20. Sometimes it doesn't work.
Okay.
You're just putting the Band-Aid on it, but really and truly, we're two opposites. So when I had a chance to do it again, when I had a break, when I had a clean slate, as my one friend told, he said, "Steph, you got a clean slate." I said, "What? You got a clean slate."
Right.
That's when you take that time to figure out who you are and what really fits and what really works for your life.
Right.
And the way that my husband Alex he came in and like I didn't even have to go get my daughter from the skating rink. He's like, you don't. I got that. I've been going to get her always. Now you going to get her, and then I got jealous, right? So he going to pick her up. I'm like, why y'all not back yet? I'm like, what's going on? Oh, we stopped to get something to eat. So I got her and I got Alexis.
He building a relationship. He know that's needed and required.
And I'm
You
like,
got a bad man. I can't wait till he start talking.
wait, but then I'm like, what y'all? Well, I could have went.
Right.
I
He
got
got a
it.
relationship to build. He's creating a family.
The bond.
Help
Yeah,
us.
exactly.
Oh my God.
Exactly.
That's
You see what I'm-
awesome.
But again, right? If I was old, I'm like, well, hold on. Like, wait a minute.
That's my daughter.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, admittedly, that's how I felt. I'm like, now wait, now y'all having fun without me.
Right.
But it was all that was necessary. Be careful what you ask for, because God gonna send it, and then you got to grow.
I hear you.
And then that's where I come in. That's where I come in, because you need help to navigate.
Right. How many years older is he than you?
No, I'm actually 3 years older than him.
Shut your mouth.
Yep.
Who is his mother and father?
Yep, I'm 3 years
The
older
boy
than
that been
him.
raised, okay?
Yes. Yep.
Wow.
And that was a whole
fantastic.
nother thing, right? When I was, because I had never dated. The first person I was married to, we were married like a long time, almost 30 years. So I met my husband online. Let's just go there, because I needed to learn how to date. So as I'm filtering through, and nobody wants to go through the filter. You got to go through the filter, people.
Right.
You got to go through the frogs to find the king. It's just part of the process. So I just had fun with the process. It's like, oh, you ain't it, you ain't it, you ain't it, you ain't it. You know what I mean? Because I knew what didn't work. So again, as you're rebuilding your life, like as you're growing, then that familiar spirit no longer fits. So I could easily shift over here. But a lot of people are like, oh, this is familiar. No, that's what didn't work. You don't recognize
Exactly.
it? You don't recognize it? No. We got to shift, boo.
Right. Yeah.
We got to shift because we're growing, changing. What we're trying to attract this time is different than what we already had.
I hear you. Excellent.
Yeah.
Now tell us a little bit about, you also do real estate in Atlanta. Tell us a little bit about that.
Yes, I help people. That's what I was put here to do.
Okay.
I've been a realtor for 16 years. And actually my background, I'm a computer science major. So a nerd, a geek, I'm in the background, never really able to get my people skills out because I'm just solving problems.
Right.
Well, that's why I say I solve problems in relationships. I solve problems in real estate, right? I'm a problem solver.
Excellent.
So real estate, I just love it because I help people of all price points, right? I'm now dipping into commercial. People are coming to me for commercial leases and things like that. I'm just like, wow, it's just, I've been able, again, I had to grow. To go to the next level, people, you've got to change and grow, right? You can't be scared.
Right.
And I'm just so open now. I'm open to receiving whatever God has for me. And so he's putting me in the different situations. I'm with a great group. It's called the Commission Luxury Group.
Okay.
And we are amazing. We are an amazing group of ladies. Actually, I think they just brought in a new guy. So now we have one guy, one man on the team. But it's just a great energy to be around movers and shakers. Right. And again, to have a husband that allows me to
The freedom.
to do what I like to do, which is help people. Like he
To
knows,
grow. You
he
can grow, baby.
knows
Yeah,
my thing is helping
yeah.
people.
Right.
So I help them on this agenda as far as relationships, because I think God has assigned me to help people have better relationships. And now I also help people move forward, and buy houses or sell houses or, however it is that I can help you. And they dub me your trusted realtor. Like, not me. Like, so many people say to me, like, okay, whatever you say, Steph, we trust you. I'm like, oh, okay. All right. And I don't take that for granted. You know what I mean? But God knows he sends me to people. Like, he gives me that responsibility to help this person.
There you go.
Help that person.
There you go.
And that's just what but I absolutely love what I do.
Well, it's a blessing to know that God's hand is on what you do. And that when you go in and when you come out, that you're going in with him.
Yes.
That's the blessing.
Yeah.
That you're going in to pour whatever oil needed.
Every time.
There you go.
Every time. They'll tell you, they get more than a realtor. Right?
There you go.
It's like it just automatically happens. Like we become family doing the transaction. It's just like, I'm not just somebody that's just trying to get a check. I'm here to navigate you through a huge life experience.
There you go.
Yeah. And it means a lot. It means a lot to get you to the closing table. So if you just hang with me, if you just stay positive, I'm going to get you there.
Now, how can they find you online?
Again, I use my Instagram, and it's at Stepanie Rochelle Consulting.
Okay.
That's my business. And you'll see me talk about how I also have a podcast, Welcome to the Rebuild. So you'll see little episodes on there.
Okay, excellent.
Yeah, but everything is there at Stepanie Rochelle Consulting.
Okay.
Or call me, 678
Okay.
435 2701. I tell everybody to text me Rebuild, and then I know that you're ready to rebuild your life.
Okay. One more time.
678 435 2701. Text me Rebuild, and I know that you're ready to rebuild your life, either in relationships or in real estate.
Excellent. I have enjoyed you.
This was great.
And I'm going to have some props for your husband when I see him tonight. Watch out. He got a brother.
That's some other friends there. She got him. She got the other brother. Yeah.
Well, again, thank you for being with us. And again,
Thank you.
I pray that God will continue to grow you spiritually and to grow you naturally as well.
Yes.
Thank you so much.
Yes. And don't forget the book.
Yeah,
The
there you
book.
go. There you go.
Get the book.
You can get it directly from Stepanie, or you can go online and get that as well.
Yes.
So be encouraged. Beloved, now are we the sons of God, but it does not yet appear what we shall be, but we know when he shall appear, we shall be like him, and we shall see him as he is. You all be blessed.
Be blessed. Okay. That was great.
Yeah, it was.
Totally different. That's
Girl, your dude is a bad man.
Welcome to the Rebuild, everybody. Welcome,
He is,
welcome, welcome.
God gave him to me, child.
Today we are talking about relationships. Relationships require change. Relationships require
Like I'm here.
change. So, are you willing
Yeah.
to allow God's word to change your life? Because relationships require change. Proverbs 14:1. A wise woman builds her home, but a foolish woman
Come on, girl.
tears it down with her own hands. I didn't say it, God said it. Pride and ego tear a house down. Most times, that's what it is, pride and ego.
I love people.
I've coached women since 2012, and a lot of them would say to me, Steph, I'm not changing. They should take me as I am. But if that's working for you, is what I would say to them. If that's working for you, great. But if you still don't have what you want, maybe you got some things to change. We can stop it right there. So, two things I want to talk about, compromise and control. Compromise, not your way, God's way, and with a soft response. I didn't say it, he said it. Control is a competition of who can do it better. We always want to do it because we want it done our way. I've been married to him forever. He should know me by now. All of these things that we say, right? It's really a sense of control because we want it done our way. Instead, just saying, what's wrong? And even in that, you have to know when to say what's wrong, because we mess up with that sometimes as well. Sometimes we don't know how to just wait. Before you respond, pray. And look for direction. He's either going to tell you to go ahead and say what you got to say, because sometimes just that pray and that wait moment, our response is softened. But if we don't wait, take a moment, we explode. I know it ain't just me. I know it's some of y'all too. I'm here to help. Welcome to the rebuild. I'm here to help. So we control when it has to be done our way. We control when we think our way is the best way. Period. We should be growing, changing, and evolving to become a better you every day. And I used to say better than yesterday. That's my goal every day, is to be better than yesterday. So God gave me a few years ago, I created a t-shirt that said better than yesterday. Every day, that was my goal. But it's a process.
Yeah.
It's a process. We mess up sometimes. We don't do it like we always should do it or say it. We mess up sometimes. It's a process. But if you start recognizing what you're doing and that relationships require change, then you can counteract that thing. It's like, oh, I did it again. Okay, God. Okay, work with me. So what will start happening is, as you're getting ready to say that thing that you've always said or do that thing that you've always done, something will happen. The Holy Spirit will stop you. And that's the point that we want to get to. And that's why there is no perfect Christian. There is no perfect person, right? The goal is to be better than yesterday. And you know what? I got more, but I think I'm going to stop it right there, because that's the point that I want to make. The goal is to be better than yesterday and recognize that relationships require change. So what I want you to do is acknowledge it.
She been married like me like 20-something years.
Well, first of all, you have to see it. Then you have to acknowledge it.